Bitwit's coverage of Computex 2018 is brought to you by Fantex, Vertigear, Enermax, Be Quiet, and CableMod. You can learn more about their products in the links below. What's going on, guys? Kyle with Bitwit here. We are at the Fantex booth now here at Computex 2018. They just showed me a brand new flagship case that is going to be hard to beat. This is one of the first suites that I've come to here at Computex, and it's already off to a great start. This is the Evolv X, and it's going to retail for $199 MSRP, that's US dollars, launching in August. This is a very worthy successor to the hugely popular Evolv ATX, which was one of my favorite cases. It still is till this day, and I really love that they've preserved the design language here. It looks very similar to the original, but there have been some great improvements here. For starters, there's a ton more airflow, which the original admittedly suffered from a little bit. But here we've got these huge gaps here for 3 times more intake at the front. There's also tons of ventilation at the top for 5 times more exhaust. So this is like that alone is just pretty amazing. The fact that they've been able to preserve the look as well. The front I/O has been improved. We've got 2 USB 3, USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type C, mic and headphone jacks, and 2 RGB buttons. We've got addressable RGB at the front now. So one is your mode, and then you've got another one for different colors and stuff. So very nice there. Kind of folds down to preserve a very clean look at the front there. The front panel pops off just the same as the last one, like so. No wires, just some gold contacts, cable-free, toolless removal. And then you've also got a removable dust filter that's also toolless with a magnet. Radiator support is through the roof on this thing. You basically get up to 360 or 420 at the front and 360 or 280 at the top. And you can actually mount 2 360s simultaneously, which you could not do in the last case. So this is already shaping up to be an enthusiast water cooler's dream case. There's also a drain port right here. You can actually install, making the installation of your drain port that much simpler and convenient to use. Right here at the front bottom. That's actually a really nice addition. Additionally, you've got 2 screws here that you could use to secure down the side panel, which is now on hinges. So you don't have to use these 2 holes if you don't want to. If you just want convenient access and you want to be able to slide the side panel out like that, you can. But if you're concerned about it moving around or accidentally opening when you're moving it around or in shipping, you can use those 2 screws right there to mount it securely. And that goes for the other side panel as well. Power buttons on the top. Let's take a look at the top really quick. You've got 2 thumb screws at the back. And once those are removed, they are captive. You can slide the the top panel back and remove. A very nice removable radiator bracket with 2 thumb screws. It's super simple to install. There's actually some tabs here just so that it reduces the number of screws you have to remove. And there's also cable ties here, which is really nice, these little hooks, so that you can just sort of streamline your cable management if you're installing radiators. There's also a fill port. Just like they have a drain port down below, they have a fill port at the top just to make your custom water cooling experience that much more simplified and streamlined. There's also this plate cover. They include one of them that you can put pretty much anywhere at the top here, just so that you can close off and remove or eliminate any sort of circulation that might be happening unnecessarily if you should be mounting a radiator up here. Cutouts for your fan cables, located one at the front, one at the back. That's also nice to see. If we open up this side panel, you can see that it's also on hinges, and you get a really clean backside. Obviously a CPU cooler cutout, and these nice little panels, cable covers, that are held in place by clasps, little tabs here, which I think is way better than having screws. It's just completely toolless. You can get in and out very easily. And if you remove these, you can kind of see that they're also on hinges, and they're kind of hiding your cable management area. You actually have sort of 2 lanes of cable management here with Velcro straps on either side, which is really nice. So you can have one side for all of your hard drives. By the way, I almost forgot to mention that you can mount 6 hard drives on the opposite side of this panel right here. They all kind of get mounted horizontally. And so you can have plenty of cable routing for that. And then in the other lane, so to speak, you have more room for your ATX power cables and things like that. Additionally, you'll notice that there are no cable grommets. However, they've kind of solved that issue by having these cable plates that are held in place by these thumb screws, which I accidentally just removed completely. But if you just loosen it, you can sort of slide them over to the right or the left, depending on which way you're facing, and completely cover up any sort of eyesore when you're doing cable management. It's actually a really cool solution that I have not seen before in a case, but I can't wait to test it out myself. There's also little hooks for additional just for making cable management all that much easier, where these tabs are holding up the SSD cover plates, as they're called. Speaking of SSDs, you can mount up to 9 of them back here. It does include some trays, so you can mount 3 SSDs here. You can mount 3 SSDs on the back of this plate, or 3 more on the back of that plate, which is just incredible. This is a very versatile case. So you could buy this case not even knowing what you're going to use it for, and then when you finally figure it out, chances are you can probably make it happen no problem. The other thing I want to mention is that there is a hard drive cage down here. It's not visible right now because it's not installed, but that can house up to 4 additional hard drives, meaning you could fit 10 3.5-inch drives in this case, which is insane. I'm going to close these up, or no, actually before I do that, there is a pre-installed GPU bracket that basically eliminates GPU sag. And the way that this works, it actually mounts to the back side right here. Actually, I guess it would be facing this way once you remove the thumb screws. And essentially, the expansion slots of your GPU will slot into these cutouts, and then you can basically mount this down. You actually push it down to sort of create a seesaw effect where your GPU on the other side is forced to sort of pop up. And that essentially eliminates your sag. And they've demonstrated this to me here at the suite earlier, and it works flawlessly. And the nice thing is that it's invisible. It's completely behind the motherboard tray, so you don't even notice that it's there, but your GPUs are looking perfect. The other thing that I forgot to mention that's very important is that there's now sort of a sealant on both of the side panels, so that again, you're just preserving that amount of airflow, you're reducing the amount of air leakage, and it also minimizes noise as well. So that completely closes off the side panels once you get them shut. But we're not done yet. There is still more to discover about this case. You know how Fantex is always stepping up their game with innovation. Well, check this out. If you get kind of low, you can see that there's a whole second system mounted to the roof of the case upside down with an optional bracket that you can buy if you want to make this into a dual system chassis. Obviously it's mini ITX, but look, like they're still able to get a 120mm AIO installed onto this little system. And with a GPU bracket, a vertical GPU riser card that's also sold separately, you could even have a discrete graphics card connected to that second system. They've got 3 video cards in here right now and 2 systems. I can't really, hasn't really hit me yet, but this is pretty awesome. You'll also notice that there's addressable RGB lighting right here on the power supply shroud, and it looks really clean and just seamless. You don't see individual LED hotspots like you do on a lot of cases these days, simply because they've used more LEDs, so the resolution of this lighting is just phenomenal. Look at this case. So this is kind of just showcasing what's possible as far as custom water cooling. A beautiful loop that's set up in-house by the Fantex team. They've got 2 graphics cards in there that are being held up by that built-in GPU bracket that I just showed you earlier, and they look perfectly straight to me. You've got 3 140s at the front here, so that they are utilizing the 420 radiator support at the front, and another 280 at the top there. And by the way, in case you were wondering how both of these systems are being powered right now, we are using Fantex's very own Evolv X power supply. This is not new per se. It does have its sort of power splitter built into it, so it's got 2 ATX cables, 2 8-pin EPSs, and so forth in just a single unit. The one addition now is that they finally have a 1,000 watt version that you can purchase. Now, if the Evolv X doesn't tickle your fancy, Fantex is showing off a brand new prototype that is still months away, but has very similar functionality and an internal layout as the Evolv X, but it doesn't really focus so much on, I don't know, things like RGB lighting, things that you might not want or be willing to pay extra for, but still want to really take advantage of all that functionality. This is the Eclipse P600S. And like I said, it's a prototype, so it's not finished with the paint. It's very bare bones at the moment. But you can see you still get tempered glass side panel. It's got these panels at the front and top that can be left in place as is for optimal silence and acoustics, or you can easily pop them out, toollessly, mind you, and open it up for airflow. There's also sound dampening on the back of these. So again, it's going to be very good if you want to keep a quiet chassis. Now, the other thing about this mesh, if you take a closer look, it's not actually plastic or metal. It's a brand new material. It's sort of a fabric material, actually. It kind of gives the case a more organic or natural look, which I really like. And the beauty of this mesh material is actually kind of serves two purposes. It's a twofold here. One is that it collects more dust. It actually captures a lot more dust than traditional dust filters do. Additionally, it just allows more air to go through. I believe they were saying it's got something like a 92 to 94% pass-through, as opposed to like 70%, which is the maximum you can get out of a conventional dust filter, which I guess I would like to put this on the test bench and actually see if it makes much of a difference. But it sounds very promising right now, and it just looks great. If you look on this side too, you'll notice this sound, that this side panel has sound dampening material as well. It's kind of got a nice touch to it. And it's also hinged, just for very convenient and quick access. All the same cable management on the back. Everything you love about the Evolv X, but different. I should also mention these panels are going to be held in place by hooks on one end and some stronger magnets on the other. And you can probably expect the price point of this case to be a little bit cheaper than the Evolv X, because they are removing some features that not every user really needs. Now, in addition to cases, Fantex is also showing off some brand new fans with a whole new design. There's no actual official name for these fans yet. They're working on a super awesome one, I'm sure. But these are looking pretty nice so far. You can see that they're just sort of simple. They're very minimalistic. They're black. They match with pretty much any component that you would pair them with. They have vibration pads for reduced noise and vibration, obviously. You've also got a very nice improved fan blade design. That's glass fiber, actually, in construction, and it just allows a bit more precise manufacturing so that they can get the blades just 0.7 millimeters away from the frame itself. You can also daisy chain these fans together. Probably anywhere from 3 to 4 fans, depending on obviously the power delivery of whatever header you're connecting it to on your motherboard. But that's really nice. It solves the issue of running out of fan headers or needing a fan hub in your case, things like that. It's especially useful if you're doing custom water cooling. You're going to have radiators and a lot of fans potentially in push-pull. Those fans add up quickly, especially with more cases these days, just allowing for more fan mounting points and so forth. Fantex has also been testing these fans not just with heat sinks, regular heat sinks and mesh material, but also with low density radiators as well, just to make sure that they're covering all their bases depending on what kind of variables any enthusiast might be building with, just to ensure maximum performance, regardless of the configuration. Now, circling back to that really cool fabric mesh material that I showed you guys earlier, Fantex is also playing around with the idea, and they're actually pretty committed to releasing sort of mesh paneling for their Shift and Shift X cases, which I think is a fantastic idea. These cases are mainly built with water cooling in mind. The airflow might be a little bit limited on the original models for air coolers. But with this new design, with just mesh paneling on various sides, it really opens up the possibilities of what you can install into this chassis. But they haven't really decided exactly yet on what kind of paneling they want to use, if they want to use it just for the sides, or maybe potentially for the front as well. And also what colors, because with this mesh fabric material, you can really get creative. There's a bunch of different options that they have laid out here, just some samples. They even have like a really cool like fabric material here. Now this isn't breathable at all, so this would just be purely cosmetic, but it does look really cool and would certainly match your Google Home or other cool trendy device. So I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think here? Do you like the mesh paneling in the first place? If so, where would you like to see it live on the Shift X? Where do you think it looks the best? What color do you think looks the best? What patterns do you like? Which ones don't you prefer? And so forth. So altogether, I'm not exactly sure when this is going to be released. Again, they're still making a lot of decisions in this process, so hopefully you guys can help them out there. So that about covers it for the Fantex booth here at Computex 2018. Rest assured, guys, I will definitely be getting my hands on a bunch of this stuff, including the Evolv X, and doing a review for you guys, as well as a pretty awesome build. So stay tuned for all of that, and go ahead and check out the links in the description below for my various sponsors, including Fantex, and be sure to get subscribed so you don't miss any more of my coverage here at Computex 2018. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.